Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained. And I have on another fantastic guest for you, all of you. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And without further ado, well, actually, there's one last thing. Currently running on Kickstarter, the Oswald Chronicles and Tall Tales, the Peacekeepers. Go check out the Oswald Chronicles. Go get yourself a pin. Go get yourself a sticker. It's for the first 45 physical backers. I only got a few left. So go get them. All right. Without further ado, here's Mr. Tom. How you doing, Tom?
It's happening. It's happening. It's happening.
Right. So, Tom, please you've been here before, but introduce yourself again anyway.
Yeah, Tom Hutchison, writer, publisher, art director, art editor, sales guy, interview guy, make the Kickstarter thing, pack, ship all the things for Big Dog Inc. We've been doing this now. This is our 13th year. 2023 is 13 years for us. So, we've done, I have to really figure this out, but I think we've done at least as many titles as we've been in existence. So I think we now have 13 titles because we did 2 new titles last year. So yeah, we got a lot that we do: Western superheroes, nice, sci-fi, fantasy, kaiju, jungle girls, historical fiction, everything. So yeah.
All right, cool. Now, before we start, I want to say we were supposed to have another guest on, Max Devill. He's in the hospital, but he's feeling better and he's on the mend. So he's convalescing, but he's going to be back with the rest of us real soon. So Max, get better.
Yes.
Your campaign is doing fantastic. We're going to pull it up. We're going to run through it for you, and just show you some love. But his book is awesome, Mary Machine Gun. So yeah, we'll get to that soon. All right. So Tom, we were talking just before we came on the air, and I thought this was an interesting subject because I already interviewed you. We don't need to talk about, your process and all that stuff. Right? It's like, sounds like I put the words on the paper.
Yeah.
Right. But we were talking about Kickstarter and the surge of campaigns have been that have like shot up in there. I mean, are you concerned by it?
No, I only because it hasn't reached crazy proportions. Even with the surge, we're still within norms of expected campaigns. I was actually surprised that there were fewer campaigns. When I launched, there were like 130 or so in early January. And I was like, that's really low. And it went up a little bit, during the course of my campaign. But then last week, there was an explosion. We were like at 160 or something, and it jumped all the way up to like 230. So it was just this monstrous pop of campaigns. None of them that I saw, I didn't really do a deep dive, but none of them that I saw were really like, it wasn't like Lady Death popped up or anything like that. So it was a lot of just sort of what we'll call miscellaneous. And I hate to say it that way, but it's stuff that most of us, we don't know who these guys are. So it was just kind of interesting that we had that surge right at the end of the month. And then, there's talk about how February is about to get really, really busy. So maybe we'll see another surge at some point, and maybe we get to that 300 that we were at in 2020 and 2021. But at the same time, there's a lot of campaigns that are going to be dropping out. Like mine finishes tomorrow. Max finishes tomorrow. So I don't know that we'll hit 300 too fast unless there really is another wave of campaigns, just sort of waiting to happen.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I mean, when it was hitting 300 in 2020, things went well. I mean, the market was going well, right? I don't see it slowing down. And that's the question.
Yeah, it was 2020 was everybody was at home. And so it opened the doors for people to be like, I'm going to take my shot at this. They saw people that were doing comics, making money, not necessarily profiting money, but making enough money to make a comic book anyway. And so the doors just flew open. It's like you're sitting at home anyway, because we're all here for Corona. So people just started doing it, and it lasted through a good portion of 2021. And then it kind of subsided. and got back to normal numbers through most of 2022. You know, I think there's a number of reasons for that. Not the least of which is probably the fact that a lot of those people weren't prepared for the back end of Kickstarter, the fulfillment side of things, the shipping side of things. And so I have a feeling that there were a lot of first timers that came in and had sort of a rough experience and were like, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, exactly. There were also probably a lot of just vanity projects that people were like, hey man, let's just make a comic book. Let's just have fun with this. And all they ever wanted to do was make one issue. You know, it's just like, I just want to say I did it, which is perfectly valid reason to do it. But I think a combination of things is what drove it back down in 2022 to sort of more normal levels. And you know, we're at normal levels right now. So, again, barring some crazy wave in February, things are normal for Kickstarter.
Right. Now, do you see, I mean, do you think there's probably a chance? Because, okay, I've heard, you know, we're around the game, we listen to people talk, right? And I've heard one guy break it down. And he says there's probably about 7,500 to 8,000 actual hardcore dedicated fans who support all those campaigns on Kickstarter. Right. And
where does he get that number from?
They did some number crunching. They broke down, I guess a couple thousand campaigns. And those are the numbers they came up with. Now,
but unless you're going into the analytics and pulling names,
right,
those numbers of backers don't mean anything. Because, for example, Brian Pulido could have 2,000 backers and not a single one of them could back my campaign. Or if I do 400 backers, those 400 could all be Brian Pulido from Brian Pulido. You know what I mean?
Right.
So without actually going in and seeing like, where's the Venn diagram for all of these names, it's an impossibility to determine how many are there. I mean, I could literally have 400 backers that no one else has. It's unlikely, but it is theoretically possible. So I'm continue with the thought, but it seems already shaky math.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. That's why I'm bringing it up, because I'm just like, that's why I want to get your thoughts on it, because I'm just like, you know, 8,000. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, like, what are the chances? Like, we had the Keanu Reeves, right, with Berserker when he came in. I don't even know, would it have something like 10,000 or 9,000 backers?
Sure,
something like that.
Sure.
And I'm like, you know, how many of them have stayed around, right?
Sure. Yep.
And I mean, you know, how, you know, are the rest of us benefiting from that sort of thing?
Unfortunately, it's an impossible question because there's no way to know. You hope that when something like that, or there was a Godzilla book recently, there's Power Rangers on there, you would hope that when those projects bring people to Kickstarter, that those people would, in some percentage, hang around and see what else is happening. But most of them, I would say probably at least 75% of them are one and done. And they'll come back for more of whatever that is. If there's more Keanu, they'll come back for more Keanu. But most of the people that are being driven to the campaigns in those capacities are not interested in the rest of us. It's like going to Comic-Con and trying to drag people away from Tom Holland's autograph line. It's like, they don't care about you. They are there for that one thing. And that is it. Some percentage will hang around and be interested, but it's an impossible thing to figure out without going through a polling process of, you know, hey, IDW, can we, or Boom, I guess, can we poll all your guys? Like, hey, are you still using Kickstarter? And they're not going to do that. So it's unfortunately an impossible question. But what we can look at is the people that are relatively consistent on Kickstarter. Myself, Dan Mendoza, Brian Pulido, Merck Publishing, Ron Zabala, Larry doing Niobe. The people that are relatively consistent on Kickstarter are not seeing a ton of fluctuation in their campaigns. They're pretty stable in their campaigns. So that means that they are generating their own sort of fan base to some degree, bringing their fans with them, because there's not a lot of fluctuation. So it's not like they're relying on the Kickstarter general audience to help them fund. Although, like in my case, I know every time I do a campaign, there are new people. Every single time there are new people. So that's a reality. Where they came from, who knows?
Right.
But that is a reality that every time I do a campaign, I get new people. So I think Kickstarter and crowdfunding in general is in its infancy still. And I think it's just going to grow over time as people start to understand how it really works. And as soon as they, there are campaigns that come in and, they don't fulfill right away, or they're super late. Some of them just flat up take the money and disappear. That's bad, of course. But it really doesn't take much to kind of look at somebody's crowdfunding project and look at sort of their track record and be like, yeah, okay, this guy looks like he's taking care of things. And this guy looks like there's problems. So we're going to go over here to the guy who looks like he's taking care of things. And over time, any campaign folks that are kind of flaky are just going to weed themselves out, because eventually the buyers will be like, look, dude, we've been at this long enough. You're not fixing the problems. We understand problems happen, but you're not fixing any of the problems. We're out. And you'll just start to see that stuff decline. Whereas the folks that are doing it regular basis and fulfilling, they should start to see those bumps upwards. That's all theoretical, but it's based on some more or less real data across all the guys that are doing regular stuff. I mean, even you've been doing Kickstarters for a while. And I mean, are you seeing basically steady levels plus some ups? I mean, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird. Like I with regular comics, I see a growth, right? And it grows gradually, and then I see a little bit of a bump. It's trades I've been having a hard time with. Like trades, like for some reason, I guess they're like, it gets to a certain point and it's just like, okay, no, you're done. Right. But they consistently sell on all the other campaigns.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We sell trades all the time on our campaigns. Yeah. It's I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I think Kickstarter really is there mostly for new product. People are art collectors and so on. Even on my campaign, the number one selling book, I think, is the regular book,
Right.
by only by 8, but the regular book is the highest selling book that we have. Just the regular old thing. So that could be a price point issue. That could be just like people are like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna be the I'm the reader. I'm the reader
right.
versus anything else. So versus the collector. So readers are great. We want readers. So that's how you can grow the book, is if people are reading the book. If they're not reading the book and they're just there for art. I mean, I know I have a lot of backers that don't do anything on my campaigns unless there's a certain artist. That's it. They will only back my book for that artist. So they don't care about me. They don't care about Big Dog Inc. They only care about the artist, which again is fine. That's what you collect. That's what you collect. But that's sort of the weird, alchemy of crowdfunding. Is it's all of these separate groups that somehow find your project and decide how they want to spend their $20 or more in some cases. There's I have yet to see any ability to quantify who, what, where, why, when for backers across multiple campaigns, different people. I can do it from my own. I can look at my own and say, this guy did Ursa Minor #1. He wasn't there for 2. And now he's back for 3, and then you got to ask, well, like maybe this guy was on summer vacation and he didn't see it, or, who knows? There's so much in the world that's happening beyond crowdfunding that people sometimes just don't know what's happening. And that's part of it too.
Oh yeah. So Dan Mendoza, that's Zombie Tramp?
Yeah. Zombie Tramp, Still Ill is his company. So I'm trying to think of his other books, because he has like a ton of them. But yeah, Zombie Tramp was his prime thing that he started like 15 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. With Action Lab.
Yeah. Well, he did it himself and then he took it to Action Lab. And then Action Lab was a disaster, and
Right.
he got Zombie Tramp back last year or so,
Mhm.
and so it's now back with him, and now he's doing that book. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all right, here's interesting. Well, here's something that interests me anyway. So, I know you've run your stuff through Diamond, right? And you've had books go through Diamond. Now, do you think that's had any impact on your success with Kickstarter? Because he's obviously ran his books through Diamond for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, he's running what, six-figure campaigns?
Yeah, well, this is not an easy question because
Mhm.
there's a lot of layers here,
Oh yeah.
because you can't really compare his campaigns to anyone else's. Number one, he's built a fan base. Number two, everything he does is boobs, like everything is boobs.
Right, right.
And
Yeah.
so if you don't do boobs, you're not going to attract his audience. There's just zero way to compare projects. But yeah, he's active in the convention scene for the most part. He does the sexy girl books that people like. He's been in. He also was doing some crowdfunding stuff while some of his stuff was still happening in Diamond. I haven't been in Diamond for like 8 years. I haven't been in a comic book store for 8 years, because we pulled out of Diamond when we started doing crowdfunding, and I just haven't decided to go back. But I know that when Brian Pulido did Lady Death as crowdfunding, he did it for 2 years roughly, and then he went and took all that product that he had done for 2 years, sent it to Diamond. So they were all 2 years behind where he was.
Right.
But he got noticed again, and his backer count started spiking at that point. It's a very obvious track. Oh, he's in Diamond. There's a bump.
Right.
So yeah, I think that and we've talked about this on other shows. There's value to being in comic book stores, but you have to understand that most of the time, for most of us, it is a marketing expense, and you're not going to make a dime because you're not going to sell enough books. Now with like Pulido and stuff, he's going out there with, Eric Bassel Dua covers all the time, and Adam Hughes, and, all these big things. So he's drawing a lot of extra bonus attention just from that, which, a lot of times we can't do that. So again, you can't really compare and contrast anything, unless you actually have two apples to sort of compare.
Right.
And the closest two apples would be probably like Zombie Tramp and Lady Death. But he's also managed to siphon Lady Death fans because he's done stuff for Coffin, and people are like, oh, Dan Mendoza, I have his Lady Death covers. And then they do crossovers too, Lady Death, Zombie Tramp, crossover things, stuff like that. So he has siphoned off of Brian Pulido as well to sort of gain extra backers for his stuff. So like I said, it's not an easy question. There's a ton of swirling layers to try and figure out why something does well and something doesn't.
Yeah, well, you've been on my show before. I don't like easy questions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We ask all the weirdo, let's deep dive and drive ourselves nuts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even on my campaign, right? The best-selling book that isn't that one is the one with the bare butt vampire. I mean, this isn't brain surgery over here.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it really is not brain surgery. It's treated like it's brain surgery. It's treated like it's, oh, you're just doing porn to like sell. I'm like, listen, shit sells, man. Like, how long have you been on this planet and you don't know that this is the case? You can fight it all you want, but the reality is that is what happens. I even when I did my kaiju book, right? We had two covers. One had a big monster tearing down Big Ben. The other one had a big monster sort of flying in the background, and we had a girl who's our singer from the book, playing her guitar and singing. The kaiju book sold better with the girl on it. Right. So it's just not brain surgery. And even for me, like when I do these campaigns, I know for a fact I leave money on the table every time I do a campaign because I don't do all those boob covers all the time. It doesn't fit my brand for all of my books. And I do so many different things. Like when we do Penny for Your Soul, 100%, I'm all in. Let's go. When we do some princesses versus zombies, we're probably going to start leaning into that a little bit. even with this book, we have done it in the past with vampires and stuff. You can get sexy with it and do some of that kind of thing. But it doesn't work for all of my books. I will never do, nude covers for like Dorothy Gale or Critter or Scheherazade or any kind of stuff. It's not the brand. And so I lose money because of that, because I know that there's people like, oh, you don't have any nude covers. I'm like, read the book, maybe read the book instead of just like focusing on one cover. Like, well, if you had a nude cover, I'd buy one. You're not supporting me at that point. You're supporting whatever artist draws the book. So it's like, I have a smaller fan base for sure because of that. But it's a consistent fan base, and it's something that is always there, and it's something that I can use as a foundation to grow. And then when we finally get back to the boob books, all those guys will come back for their boob books. That's fine.
Nice. Yeah. I got you. So I mean, okay. So here's the thing. It's like, yeah. So you were in Diamond. I mean, are you dealing with any retailers right now, or you're just like pure just crowdfunding and whatnotting it?
Yeah, there's a handful of retailers that deal with me direct. But outside of that, it's me direct to customer. It's me on live sales. It's me on the website, on eBay, on Comic Cons, on crowdfunding. It's me to them.
Right.
Really is what it is now. And then, but there are stores that are like, dude, we like to carry your stuff. I'm like, that's fine. That's great. The Wizard of Oz Museum carries all of our Oz books, that kind of stuff. Right. So we definitely have stuff out there, but it's in a minuscule amount of places. And when it was COVID, I mean, we literally, when all the companies put pencils down, we sent hundreds of care packages out to retailers saying, here's stuff you can sell. And the response to that was, oh, this is great. So cool. Big Dog is so awesome. And then, 6 months later, they didn't care anymore. They did, because again, we're not in Diamond. It's not an easy system for them, whatever. It's like, okay, whatever. And I just, at that point I was like, I'm succeeding without it. Right. So I don't know why I need to put my energy into it. It's just literally what it is. I'm succeeding without it. I'm not against being there, but I am succeeding without it. And there has been talk about potentially just going back in to either through Diamond or through Lunar or whoever, to get back into comic book stores, just to get, again, that little marketing bump of like, oh my God, Big Dog's still around. It literally just happened the other day. Keith Garvey posted a cover that he did for Critter, and a guy was posted on the cover. He's like, oh my God, I miss Big Dog, man. This was such great stuff. And I'm like, not gone. I'm right here. And so literally I posted on the thread. I'm like, dude, I am right here. We've been doing this nonstop. I gave him the link to the website, link to the crowdfunder. And that day he went on the crowdfunding and spent $300. So there's literally, eyeballs that do not know that we exist. And so being back in retail stores would be a help, similar to the way that, it was with Brian Polito. So it's something that I have to sort of take notice of. But again, there's not going to be any money to be made there. So I have to treat it all as a marketing expense. So I have to make sure that whatever's happening there is at least paying for itself, so that I'm not just out money, trying to snag people and bring them back to, what we do on crowdfunding and so on. So it's again, it's a layered thing, especially now that everything doesn't go through Diamond. Like there are options now, Penguin and Lunar and whatever. So there's a lot more to look at now when you want to go back into retail store market.
Yeah, I mean, one reason I bring this up is I'm thinking of it for myself. Like, there comes a point where the library gets so big, right? Because you're building a library of books, and there's going to come a point where it's just like, where are you going to focus all your energy, right? Because you're going to have all this older, you're going to have at some point, you're going to have like 30, 40, 50 books in the library, right? And some of those earlier titles are not going to do as well, right? Because you got the newer books coming out, right? So, I mean, I'm like, what are your thoughts, like, just adding new energy to those older titles, right? Or those older books, and then getting them out there in the world.
Well, the way that we've been doing it is because we're crowdfunding basically quarterly, you know, we've been kind of focusing on one book a year to get like a complete story arc out. And
Nice.
then, you know, drizzling in other things along the way. So like this Ursa Minor is the 10-year anniversary for Ursa Minor. So we're doing a story arc. The year before was Legend of Oz. So same thing. We kind of focused, did an Oz book. So we've been kind of cycling through, you know what I mean? And I think that there's some value in that, in sort of the recurring, like, oh my God, this book is back. Oh my God, this book is back. Oh my God, this book is back. While at the same time, along those lines, they're getting, oh, we got a new book. Oh, we got a new book. So I'm kind of constantly in the middle of the road where it's, you know, I want to get these old books done. But I also have creativity that is just springing, and I want to get this new stuff going too. So I'm trying to find ways to kind of do both at the same time. And so far it's working pretty well. I mean, even with Penny for Your Soul, we haven't done Penny for Your Soul in like, I don't know, 4 years. Wow. And I have people begging for it. Like, when's the next one? When's the next one? I'm like, okay, it's coming. It's 2025. Penny for Your Soul's back. And they get excited about it. So right now there's really no, like, yeah, it's been gone a while. I don't care anymore. Like, they want it back. And I think that there's some value in that. It's sort of like when Brian K. Vaughan will take a hiatus on Saga, right? And then 6 months later he'll come back. Oh, Saga's back. Yay. Let's get this book again. So, and I think that's way easier also within the context of crowdfunding and individual creators, because I'm not out there like if I'm in the comic book store and I'm competing against all of that product, and then I disappear for 6 months, all that other product is still there. So, and then I come back and I kind of have to restart. Whereas here, I may not do a book for a while, but I'm doing other books. And so I exist and I'm viable, and I'm like, okay. Oh, there's the book I've been waiting for. And then now I'm back. So, it's working for me. I won't say it's, you know, perfect by any means, but there's just really not a way to do like 3 monthly or bi-monthly books using crowdfunding. It just kind of can't happen unless you are really, really built with the infrastructure and you start doing like a Kickstarter every month. Then you can obviously move through content a lot faster. But
that's a good segue. Proof of Life. Max is still alive. What's up, Max? It's like, we miss you, buddy. We miss you. Next time. All right. But yeah, I mean, I got a question. So how many different art teams are you running at the same time?
Just a couple, because again, we do everything's quarterly for us. So, you know, we have an art team running on our primary book, whatever that happens to be for the year. And then we have the smaller things like Goth Day. You know, CB Zane does our Goth Day every year. This year we have an anthology book that has 3 stories in it. So we're going to have those art teams running. But yeah, basically it's usually like 2 or 3 throughout the year, depending on how much we're weaving in and out of different product. But like next year, we're going to be focusing on Critter and Sand and Scales, our Gladiator book. So we'll basically have those 2 teams running. And then again, CB will do Goth Day for a single issue and stuff like that. So gotcha. 2 to 5, but a lot of the outside of the 2, a lot of that is just sort of small books. So like this year we're expanding again what we're doing. So we've been doing all of these like special days. Like we've done Bikini Day, Princess Day, Goth Day, of course, has become a big thing. But there's all kinds of different days. And over the past couple of years, we've done special covers for these special days, just to have some fun with it. So this year we're expanding that idea to not just be a cover for the day, but it's actually going to be a little mini story. So they're going to be 8-page mini stories to go with whatever that particular day is. And so we've got those things up and running now as well. Because again, it's like I got to this point where I was like, dude, I'm just like slapping covers on existing stuff and I'm not really happy with this. People are buying it, but how do I make this better? How do I create more value for it? And so I was like, well, let's try this. Let's try these little 8-page stories and just have an actual story that goes with it. So that's what we're doing. So this year, the first one is March 20th. It is Alien Abduction Day. It's a real thing. Nice. It's Alien Abduction Day. So we're going to have an 8-page book using the theme of Alien Abduction Day. And then we'll have another one in April, and we have another one in, I have my list. When is the other one? September. So yeah, it's so that's another little fun thing that we can just kind of do and just kind of keep making content.
Cool. Now, do you ever see yourself getting to a point where maybe you might move to instead of quarterly, maybe bi-monthly?
Well, this year we actually are going to be every other month. And it just kind of worked out that way in a weird way. So we have Ursa Minor that ends tomorrow. We are actually going to be doing 3 in a row here right at the beginning of the quarter. But the one that we do in February is the Dynamite book that I'm doing, Bad Kitty. I'm going to be running the campaign, but that's still technically a Dynamite thing because they're going to do all the fulfillment and all that kind of stuff. So it's really all I got to do is run the campaign, and they're going to take all the back end stuff. And then in March, we bring Penny for Your Soul back, Volume 1. It's been out of print for like 5-6 years. So we're bringing that back in a remastered edition, hardcover edition. There'll be a soft cover as well, but we're going to do a limited edition hardcover like we did with Critter a couple of years ago. So we'll have the hardcover editions, we'll have the soft cover editions. So that'll be March. And then April's off, and then May is Goth Day. So we do that. And then June is off, and then July is the BD13 anthology. So it's just kind of landing that way. And then of course we're going to have these little days along the way as well. So we'll see how those kind of play out, because a lot of those will, when we have the opportunity, we'll just toss those on Kickstarter for like a 24-hour Kickstarter. That was the first thing we ever did, was we did Bikini Day, and we did a 24-hour Kickstarter, and we actually comboed it up. It was one of those like make 100 things that they do, where you just make 100 of the thing. And so we made 100 Bikini Day covers, and we launched it. And the first hour, or the first 20 minutes, I was doing a live show, like, hey, Bikini Day is live, yeah, go get it. And it's like, it's only 24 hours, so you got to go get them now. 24 hours. Okay, so I closed off the video. I took a walk around the lake, which is about an hour. Came back, and an hour, it was sold out.
Nice.
So I was like, oh my God, all right, that's a thing. And so that since then we've done other experiments, like we've done 69-hour campaigns and, week-long we've done everything conceivable we've done to kind of test the waters and see what this stuff can or can't do. And so the results to me mean that the doors are wide open. You can basically do anything you want, however you want to do it, just so long as you have a fan base that's ready to, sort of pounce on it when it happens.
Right. So, okay. So I see you ran this campaign is what, 14 days?
This one was 21. Yeah. Our general campaigns are now 21, 24-ish days. We don't do 4-week campaigns anymore. That's done.
Gotcha. Okay. So well, obviously you want to get more campaigns in. You want to avoid the dead zone.
Yeah,
right?
it's more about the dead zone. And even beyond the dead zone, because you can still make money in the dead zone. You just don't make a lot. Even for me, it's just the energy. I don't have the time or the energy at 51 years old to be sitting around for 2 weeks, dicking around to make a few $100, only to have week 1 and week 2 be the big surges. So it's like, screw it. I'm done with that. Everything that we've done. So we're just as an example, we're about to break the Ursa Minor record. Ursa Minor was a 25-day campaign. We did 23,600, something like that. This is a 21-day campaign, and we're going to break that record in 4 shorter days.
Right.
So the time frame really doesn't matter, as long as you have, again, like an active fan base that wants what you're doing. You can kind of do whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, listen, I can't. That's interesting. You don't do a video.
No.
Is there any reason for that? You just don't like doing them?
I'm tired of them. No one listen. No one cares. Here's the reality, guys. No one cares. No one cares about your video. I will say this. This is the one exception. If you're new at this and no one knows who you are and what your book is, 100% have a video, because you need to tell people who you are. But even in that context, people they don't care. The videos are just really irrelevant overall. I used to do them. I used to do stuff where I talked about the book. I used to do stuff like trailer videos, like music and flashes of images and stuff. Yep. And no one cared. Gotcha. No one cared. So I'm just like, eh. And so what happened was I actually did campaigns, and I forgot to do the video is what happened. I was like, oh, damn it, I didn't put the video, and we still succeeded. And then I did it again without the video. We succeeded. And I was like, okay, this doesn't matter anymore. This is not relevant.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the Ursa Minor story arc, how many issues are you looking at?
So each one, the first original issue or original volume was 6 issues. Volume 2 and Volume 3, which is what we're doing here, Volume 3 are 5 issues each, or the equivalent of 5 issues, 100 pages. The campaign that we do here, we do one campaign is 20 pages, and then the other 2 are 40 pages. So it ends up being 100 pages in 3 issues. So this particular book is 40 pages to wrap up this story arc. And that's kind of what we've been doing on all the books as well. Again, another thing where you can kind of speed things up. Instead of doing like 5 20-page books, you can do 3 books. That's fewer campaigns, and you can get the content out faster. So that's kind of how we've been modifying what we've been doing there too.
Gotcha. So you got your poker chips. Nice.
Yep. Stickers, poker chips, some trading cards that have been unlocked. And then if we get to actually break our campaign record, which we're about $1,000 away, we'll have a bonus record breaker stretch goal thing for everybody too.
Cool. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, you can't argue with success, right?
Well, you can.
Well, I mean,
you'll look stupid. That's right. Yeah,
exactly. You look ridiculous doing it. It's just like, what are you talking about?
If it works, it works. If it works, it works. And but here's the thing: just because it worked for somebody doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody. So you do have to take that into account. But the reality is that combo set right there is the highest selling piece on the campaign. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, they're beautiful covers, with beautiful women.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, what more can be said? Although this is hilarious. That's funny.
Yeah. Baywatch. Yep. But
but
even that one, right? Even with that sexy bonus patch, like even that one's not even close to just the bare butt.
Gotcha.
I mean, these are easy analytics, guys. Easy analytics.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, do you think the bare butt one, is it because of the bare butt, or is it because of the artist used?
100% the bare butt. 100%. Now, the art is great too. Isanetto is an amazing artist, and it's a great cover just on its own. But when you've got the bare butt, that's going to be the instant draw. So yeah.
Gotcha. I mean, I love these covers. Now, how did you hook up with your artist, Fabio?
I found him on Facebook. It was just I was kind of getting desperate. I didn't have an artist, and I'm in tons of Facebook art groups. So my feed just will pop things up from time to time, and his stuff was in my feed, and I was like, oh, that's really good. I think it was like a pinup though, right? And so I messaged him like, do you do interiors? Right. Said, yeah. And he showed me some interior stuff, and I was like, dude, I need you on this book. And he was working with other publishers. He still is. Right. But we managed to get it on the schedule, and he will have done all 100 pages, 4 covers. He did that Yeehaw Vampires cover as well. And it's an amazing looking book.
Yeah, no, I've seen some of the pages. They look great. I mean, yeah.
And so this is the combo. So if you are backing Mary Machine Gun and Ursa Minor, and you do both, remember they both end tomorrow. So you got to get them in tomorrow. You'll get that free mini print right there with the crossover by Elsie Freitas and Fern Cord.
Nice.
And that'll be printed just for the folks that do the crossover. And then same thing here. We have Nightwolf with Rob Multari.
Mm-hmm.
You back his campaign and my campaign, you'll get that mini print as well.
Awesome. Do you have any real risks and challenges?
I mean, we always tell people that, like, look, shit happens, man.
Right.
You know, people get sick, printers crap out, you know, shit happens. But we've always fulfilled all of our projects. Even if we ended up doing them late, we have always fulfilled our projects, never missed a fulfillment. So you will get your book. And this book is basically done. Fabio is finishing the art right now. He's got like, he just turned in a page. So he's got like 9 pages left. And then, you know, the coloring is starting. So we'll be shipping this right towards the end of March or April. That's sort of our ship window is March, April. So we'll have it for sure in that time.
Gotcha. Yeah, man, it looks incredible. I don't even know what to tell you. You know, it looks like a great book.
It's been good. It's been great. It's been fun. You know, there's really no like super big artists on this. Like there's no DeBolfo, there's no Ebass, there's no Tyndall or any of that, and we still did really well with it. So I'm really happy to be able to bring new artists to people that people respond to. So that's, you know, I'm the art director, so I'm in charge of finding guys to do amazing stuff. But sometimes those superstars, you can't get them; they're just not available. So you got to find other people to do the job, and these guys have done the job.
Mm-hmm. No, and they've done a fantastic job. I mean, stuff looks great. I mean, you know, no, that's awesome. Let me pull up just to show everyone. Like I said, we were supposed to have another guest on. Max. He's still alive. He's doing well. He's going to be with us for many, 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 many more decades. And this is Mary Machine Gun. And, you know, this is his book. I just wanted to show it to everybody. It's here. Please go back it. Same thing with Ursa Minor. What, less than 24 hours? He has 12 hours to go. So go back this sucker. Go get yourself an awesome looking book. Yes. You know, I just want to scroll through because he has some beautiful covers. You know, the interiors look great.
And Max has been doing this for a while too. You know, he always gets his stuff fulfilled. So don't have any fears.
Yeah, this is his 8th campaign. So, you know, he's fulfilled at least 8 campaigns. So he's done. Yeah, he's doing great. Yeah. I wonder how his butt cover did.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you. Yeah. Put a butt on your cover and you'll make an extra $1,000.
Yeah. LC phrase.
It's as easy as that.
Here's his Fabio cover.
Yep.
Gorgeous. You know. John Royal.
Yeah, John Royal helped him a lot as well. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? That's the other kind of element that you have to understand is like these guys have their own fan bases and they will come running to, you know, this kind of stuff. So some of these dudes may cost you a little more, but they are going to put a lot of extra eyeballs on your campaigns.
Yeah.
So, you know, just keep that in mind as you're doing your own campaigns and figuring out who to put on them. Dudes like that have huge fan bases.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I love this cover. I love her face. I love the hair. That gun cracks me up because it looks absolutely useless. I'm like, where's the trigger? Where does her arm go? What is that? You know, I mean, it's just funny, but it's a beautiful cover though.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that thing is just awesome. Diego Bernard. Very nice. Yeah. You know, you got Karen Nicole. Very nice. Looking sexy. More LC Freitas. All right, cool. Like I said, Max can't be with us, but, you know, like I said, you can go back his campaign.
Yep.
You know, make them feel better.
Yeah, back them both and get a free mini print.
Exactly. Back them both and get a free mini print. Definitely. All right, cool. So, you know what? You know, I was looking forward to doing this with both of you, but you know, since you're the only one here, I get to do all my goofy questions with you again.
Sure.
You know, because why not? All right, but before we get to that though, please let everybody know where they can find you and your work, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, we basically live on Facebook. You can find me there. You can find the Big Dog Inc. fan page there. But we are on Twitter and Instagram is BDI Comics. We do have a TikTok page that there's basically no content there yet, but it is going to happen. So you can find, if you want to get, on the TikTok for when it does happen, that's also BDI Comics over there. We have a Patreon as well, patreon.com/Big Dog Inc., where right now, actually, we have a poll going on where our VIP members are getting to decide the two contestants in the 2023 camp crossover pillow fight that has now become an annual thing. They are determining who the contestants will be. So if you like doing that kind of stuff, you get extra freebies every 6 months. If you're a VIP member, every 6 months, you get a free variant cover. If you are a patron and you are backing our campaigns, you get what's called Patreon perks, which are basically sketch cards thrown into your rewards package for free. So there's a lot of bonuses, and it's just a lot of fun. You get to watch everything kind of get made behind the scenes, designs, art, colors, logos, the whole thing.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. All right, cool. Let's jump onto these questions. So I've asked you this question before, and I'm going to ask this sucker again. But
okay, expecting a different answer.
Well, I'm going to change it just a little bit.
Okay.
Right now, if you had your choice of any artist to choose to do a cover for you, right? Except don't give me your number one, because we already heard number one, right? Let me know who's number 2 and 3.
So for those that don't know, number 1 is Art Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is Todd McFarlane.
Okay. Cool.
Without any hesitation, it's Todd McFarlane.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, I mean, most people would say Scott Campbell, right? Except we've had that. We've done the Scott Campbell thing.
Guys.
Dave Nakayama, right? We've had Dave Nakayama. I've worked with a lot of the guys that are like I want to work with. I think the one hard one that I'm not able to make any headway with right now is Art Germ.
Okay.
So it'd be I need Todd and I need Art Germ. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
cool.
I'll never have Todd. So Art Germ, you got to step up.
Yeah. Art Germ, Art Germ I think is doable. Yeah, Todd, $400 million in the bank.
I'm going to have to just start sending him a letter every week,
right.
Like the Shawshank Redemption guy. Just be like, I'm just going to send you a letter every week until you say yes.
Right. Because he's only going to do it if he wants to do it. Because money has nothing to do with it. You don't have that kind of, nobody has that kind of cash.
100%. Yeah.
Like I said, $400 million in the bank.
It would be purely a pity cover.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It'd be like, oh, it says, oh, how cute.
Yeah.
It's something for you.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Now, I'll ask this question. Now, if you had an artist, who's the artist you'd want to work with to do interiors for you?
Art Adams.
Okay, aside from the 3 people you already mentioned.
I don't know, to be honest, because I don't read a lot of modern books. I just don't have time for it. I will say that I just did read the Power Rangers Godzilla trade paperback, and Freddie, I think his name is Freddie Williams III.
Yeah,
that was some awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap, that was some great looking stuff. That guy I would love to have. There's definitely some guys out there. There was a guy, but I'm not going to know their names because it's very obscure stuff. There was a guy who did the Planet of the Apes Ursus book for Boom, which is like, God, that's just unbelievable stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's tough. I know there's people out there that'd be like, oh, that guy. There's people that I really that I grew up with back in the day, like Tony Daniel would be cool because I'm a big fan of the 10th. So there's some of those guys out there, but I was really blown away by that Godzilla Power Rangers book. So I would happily work with that dude like any day of the year. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, who's a dude who's been, he's been incredible. Well, since the first time I've seen him, the dude's been incredible. And it's like, I wouldn't even know how to get in touch. Dan Mora.
I don't know that name.
He does a lot of stuff for DC now. He was doing a book. Yeah, you look him up, Dan Mora.
If it's modern DC, I don't have a clue. I don't know who anybody is on Marvel or DC books right now.
Yeah, but he was doing some Claws books with Grant Morrison over at Boom.
Okay.
And it was like, just a modern retelling of Santa Claus. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the story was good. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, okay. I know Claus. Okay, that I know. Sure, gotcha. Yep.
Mm-hmm. But he's been doing a lot of stuff for DC, and he does a book. He was doing a book with. It's funny. I'm reading the damn book, and I'm drawing a blank on the name. But there's also a book from Boom that he's doing that just recently finished, and the artwork in there is incredible. And the guy's just. And here's the crazy thing about it. It looks like he was doing 2 books a month, plus a bunch of covers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was just like, oh, this dude's like an old school workhorse, type of guy, which we don't see, these days anymore.
Absolutely.
All right. I know I asked you this question before. If you had the choice of any property to work on, right?
Godzilla.
What would be that property?
Godzilla.
No. What's the number 2 property?
Well, there's stuff out there that doesn't exist in comics that I would love to make comics.
Mm-hmm.
I would love. Well, I mean, this one did exist, but it was trash.
Gotcha.
There was a Howling comic that was just trash. I actually pitched to make a Howling comic. I actually met Gary Brandner, who wrote the original book, The Howling. There's all kinds of stories there. So I would love to do Howling comics. I would love to do Land of the Lost, which is another book that I actually pitched to Croft. I was like, I was literally talking to them about it, and we lost. We didn't get the license because another publisher was already way ahead in talks with us. Mm-hmm. They will remain nameless because they fucked it all up, and it never existed. There's stories there as well. So I would love to do those. For sure. And then, so I've taken it upon myself to go ahead and do, because I would love to do Jaws. I have an idea for Jaws 5, essentially. Mm-hmm. But since Universal doesn't care, I have modified the story and the names and so on to be appropriately not Jaws, but still Jaws. And so it's a book called It's Only an Island If You Look at It from the Water. And we did a preview book for that. That was one of the new titles that we did. It was a free stretch goal preview book for Ursa Minor last year. So about 100 people got that book. Nice. And we printed 150 of them. So we had about 50 extras. We've already sold a ton at cons. I cannot tell you the eyeballs that light up when they see a shark fin on your table. Like, I was not prepared. And so people have really liked it. So I'm like, dude, this is great. So in fact, I was writing some of it today because I'm writing I have to write the whole book. And as I was writing it, I realized that 2025, which is our 15-year anniversary for Big Dog Inc., is also Jaws' 50th anniversary of the movie. Nice. And so I'm like, okay, well, now I have my incentive to get my shark book out to celebrate alongside Jaws in 2025. So It's Only an Island If You Look at It from the Water. That's my official, unofficial Jaws comic book.
Gotcha. All right. Fair enough. Listen, man. They don't own great whites.
That's correct. That's correct.
Right?
That's right.
That's it. All right, cool. All right. Let's move into some of these comparatives. I won't even softball you.
All right.
It's funny. I'm tempted to throw you the real obscure stuff just for the hell of it.
Oh, whatever. Well, listen, I'll tell you the real answer. I'll give you the real answer. People may not like the real answers, but I'll tell you the real answer.
All right, cool. Well, here, you know what? I'll softball you with these. Here, Kirk or Picard? Excuse me.
God. I used to say Picard. But after the Picard show, it's like, I don't know anymore. I don't know if any of those captains are really worthy of us at this point. Maybe Cisco. I at this stage in my life, I will probably revert back to Kirk.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair?
God, they're both the same. They're both identical. They do the exact same thing every time. They are just shtick. You either get the or you get the woo.
Right.
It's like they're both tired. Make them go away. I will say that I will never get tired of the scene where Ric Flair, and I don't know his name, but there was a dude imitating Ric Flair, like out on the stage, and they were both woo, and he was woo, and he's like, you don't woo me, and you don't woo me, and he was just imitating. That's the funniest shit I've ever seen. So I'll say,
was
Ric
it
Flair.
Chris Jericho?
No. I don't know who this guy is. He was a black wrestler. And I, for the life of me, I don't know his name because I wasn't watching wrestling at the time. So I've only seen the clip like on Facebook. And it was just a dude that came out and literally just started imitating Ric Flair, like dead on amazing, taking his jacket off and throwing it and doing the stomp. And, he was, oh my God, it's hysterical. And it was amazing. So I'll take Ric Flair. Yeah.
All right, cool. Here's something that will definitely date both of us. Space Ghost or Thundarr the Barbarian?
Thundarr. Okay. Instantly Thundarr. I was never a Space Ghost person. Yeah. No. I watched Space Ghost for sure. Right. Dumb kids and their monkey. Yeah, no, that's Thundarr. And I'll take it one more step. It's the Herculoids.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Nice. Bone or Cerebus? I
don't care about either. I respect Dave Sim for doing what he did with his 100 or some odd issues or whatever it was. That's a chore, man. I mean, I'm sitting here like, I want to do 100 issues. That's a chore. So that's he did what he said he was going to do, which is great. But I never cared about either book. So I'll take Cerebus just because of the accomplishment.
Okay. Fair enough. Tim Vigil or Richard Corbin?
Vigil. Yeah. I do not have a Corbin bone in me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Vigil.
All right. Fair enough. Fifth Element
Tim Vigil once told me, by the way.
I
showed him some of my books, and he said, paraphrasing, I really should have recorded it, but paraphrasing, basically he was like, your books are way more mature than I expected.
Right.
But not juvenile. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. That's coming from a guy who does the edgiest shit you'll ever imagine. And he was happy that I was doing mature stuff, but it wasn't juvenile mature stuff. And I was like, that's it. I'll take that.
Nice. Did you get the Faust hardcover? I didn't. I will get one from him at some point. He's done a couple of covers for me too. So I see him at cons and stuff around. So I'll be grabbing one from him when I see him at a con. Yeah. I don't know. Good luck. Because I mean, as far as my understanding, they limited to 777 copies. And they sold out completely. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they'll do like a soft cover or something for it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
I'm amazed they didn't release it during the campaign because he raised 119,000, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I talked to him because he was asking me questions about Kickstarters and stuff, and so I tried to give him whatever I could to help him, but he's new to that game. I don't know. Yeah. Obviously, he had somebody helping him like legitimately do it, and I don't know who that is. But he's new to the game, and he had a super success. So, maybe they come back and they do a soft cover campaign for it. I mean, who knows? Yeah, who knows? Yeah. I screamed at him at least 10 years ago. No, maybe more, maybe 15 years ago. I was in Miami and I was like, when are you going to do? No, it was probably 10 years ago. I was like, when are you going to do a Kickstarter? So you could probably raise 20 or 30,000. He looked at me. He was like, you think I can? And I was like, dude, you're Tim Vigil. Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about? Of course you can't. And here he is raised 6 figures. I'm like, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bram Stoker or Mary Shelley?
I don't like Dracula.
Mhm.
And Mary Shelley was a freak. So Mary Shelley.
Gotcha.
Listen, you don't. If you're gonna bang dudes on your mom's grave, you're a freak. That's the way it is. That's just the way it is. So yeah, and I like Frankenstein way better anyway. So yeah, Mary Shelley.
Fair enough. Nice. Doctor Strange or John Constantine?
Oh, Doctor Strange. No question. Yeah.
All right. Buffy or Supernatural?
Oh no, remove them both from pop culture. Remove them both. I guess I would have to take Buffy just because it's Buffy, but Jesus, I hate Supernatural with a passion. Like it's the X-Files and meets Dukes of Hazzard, and I'm like, no. I gave it a good 5 or 6 episodes to try. Everybody was like, no, you got to watch this. I'm like, okay, I'll take a run. 5 episodes, I'm done. So it's Buffy.
Okay.
But really, honestly, it's Angel. Angel was even better than Buffy.
Yeah, Angel was the better show. I agree. Byrne or Perez?
Oh, Perez. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Perez forever. And partially just because he was on Wonder Woman, and that's the character that I grew up with in comics. So when he got to completely reimagine Wonder Woman after Crisis, like that's George. Yep.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know if you've seen either one of these movies, but I'm going to ask anyway. Dune 1984 or Dune 2021?
Both garbage. Both garbage. The advantage to the 80s one is just it is so camp. It is just so not serious.
Yeah.
That it's it's kind of funny to watch the old 80s. A lot of that old 80s stuff is just funny to watch now. I hated the new Dune, like to the point where I don't even care about the second one. I'm not wasting my time. It's like Avatar. I hated the first Avatar. I am not watching this second one. So I would go for the essentially the camp comedy of the 80s, 80 Dune. Yeah.
Listen, Avatar, those are fantastic cartoons.
They're sure. Okay.
Wally Wood or Al Williamson?
I don't know a lot of Wally Wood, but I do know a lot of Al. Al did a lot of Star Wars stuff. And so that would be Al. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Frank Miller or Alan Moore?
Ugh.
Which
I don't think that I have read an Alan Moore book. No, I have. Okay, I have. I was going to say that I haven't read one that I liked, but I have. The original League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was really good.
Okay.
Watchmen is terrible. V for Vendetta is terrible. Swamp Thing is terrible. It's terrible.
Miracle. Did you ever read Miracle Man?
No. None of that stuff. No. I am really interested to try Promethea that he did for Image or somebody.
It was DC.
America's Best Comics or something, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I am actually on the lookout for a Promethea trade paperback because I do want to try that. But on the other side, Frank Miller, that dude, it has to be Alan Moore because I don't think I like anything that Frank Miller does. But Frank Miller wrote the biggest troll comic of all time with All-Star Batman and Robin. Basically, that guy got that job and was like, how bad can I fuck this up? And they'll still pay me and people will still buy it because of Jim Lee's art. Like, how awful can I write a book? And man, is it awful. It's so awful. And I've been slowly piecing it together over the years, like finding them in the dollar bins. Right. And I finally have I think there's like 10 of them. I have like all 10 of them now, and I'm just going to sit down and just bask in that just horrible pot of I'm the goddamn Batman. Like, oh Jesus. Yeah, it's got to be Alan Moore. And I will say that while I don't like Watchmen the comic, I do really, really like Watchmen the movie, which is very strange to me. But just the way that Alan writes, Watchmen is just so dense, you know. Yeah. It feels like I'm reading a novel and not really a comic book. It just doesn't have the comic book aesthetic for me. So while conceptually I like it a lot, which is why I think I like the movie. I love the conceptual element of it. The book itself is just like, that's just a brick that you use to hit people with. That's its primary value.
All right. That's funny.
I have really long answers for these things. They should be easier, but
no, that's really good though. I was like that's a unique one. I like that one. Harry Potter or Narnia?
Oh, Narnia in an instant. Harry Potter is garbage. In fact, Harry Potter, have you seen the video about how Harry Potter is just Star Wars with crappier wands?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, I'm not spoiling anything. Do yourself a favor. Everybody go to Google when we're done. Google Harry Potter is Star Wars with crappy wands. You'll find the video. It's a comedian, basically. He's doing his shtick. And he's like, y'all know that Harry Potter is just Star Wars, right? With crappy wands. And then he goes through it. And you're just like, oh my God, this is really good. This is really good. But I know I never liked Harry Potter anyway. And I love Narnia. And I'm really bummed that they only did the 3 Narnia movies and they didn't, wrap it up. Because they weren't really successful, but I enjoyed them. Yeah. Supposedly Netflix or somebody is supposed to be coming in and doing them again to some capacity. So I'm kind of curious if that'll happen.
I don't know. With the slate of fantasy movie, shows that are coming on, I'm like, I don't have a lot of faith in that.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't even bother with trying to watch Willow.
Oh, I don't think anybody did. They watched a couple episodes and they were all out.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, I didn't even like the original movie, so I was like,
yeah, I've never seen the original movie. I've never seen Willow.
I think I got 20 minutes in, and I was just, I'm done.
That sounds like me with Legend. Like I tried to watch Legend, the Tom Cruise movie, and I couldn't. It just wasn't getting me. Oh, you know what it was? I may not have been Legend. It was Labyrinth.
Okay.
I was trying to watch Labyrinth.
Jim Henson.
Yeah. Labyrinth, and I was like, what the hell's going on, man? I don't.
Right.
It lost me so fast, and I could never get back into it. But like, I love the Dark Crystal.
Right.
So
Did you enjoy the TV show that
Netflix? I didn't.
You didn't like it?
No. I don't know what it was, but I could not get into it. It just didn't work for me. I feel like I need to go back and try it again, because maybe I just wasn't in the right frame of mind for it. Because I really liked the movie a lot. So that was literally the only reason I had kept my Netflix at the time. I was like, Dark Crystal's coming, so I'm going to keep Netflix. Right. And then it came, and I was like, oh no, this is not good. So I will probably go back to it, and I will, I'll report back when I get to it again.
Cool. All right. We've done a few of these, so I'll ask you a couple more as we'll wrap this sucker up. Bernie Wrightson or Barry Windsor Smith?
Bernie Wrightson. That's, Barry is good. Bernie is beyond good. Yeah. Beyond good. It was a painful loss to the industry a few years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. The funniest thing I've ever heard, I've asked that question of a number of creators, right? And the funniest answers I've ever gotten was Bernie all the way. I've met Barry.
I've met Bernie quickly, just sort of being at a con, like, because I was there and he was there. I didn't really like go to his booth or anything, but I always saw him as nice. I've never met Barry, so I don't have that experience.
Yeah, I've never met Barry. I have met Bernie though on a number of occasions, and the last time I saw him was at Boston Comic-Con 6 months before he passed, and it was like, I saw him. I wasn't expecting him to be at the show. I just saw him. I was like, oh shit, it's Bernie Wrightson. And I was just like, I have to buy something from it. Because I rarely, if ever, buy prints. Yeah. I'm like, I have to buy one. because I looked at him and I was like, I'm never going to see him again.
Yeah.
Because he looked really ill. And
Yeah.
I was just like, holy shit. So I brought a print. I got a frame that's hung up on my wall. I mean, God rest his soul, man. He was an incredible talent.
Yeah. Do yourself a favor and get the Frankenstein book he did with Steve Niles.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
No, I have that one, and I have the Frankenstein book where he does the illustration.
Yeah.
Terminator or RoboCop?
Terminator.
Okay.
Time travel always defeats terrible trilogies. Not that Terminator isn't a terrible franchise now, but at least the first couple are okay.
Did you not? I'm a huge fan of the first RoboCop movie. The first one.
The first one's okay. Yeah. But 2 is a mess, and 3 is just terrible. I mean, 3 is just so bad. Like, I didn't even realize how bad it was. I actually watched the whole trilogy not long ago because I was like, I haven't seen these in forever. Right. So I watched the first one. I was like, yeah, this is good. Second one, ooh, this is not maybe as good as I remembered. And then the third one was just, what is this? Yeah, it went right off a cliff.
Well, those 2 were written by your guy, Frank Miller.
Yeah, Mr. Miller, yeah.
So nice. Mr. Miller. I think I don't know if I asked you this question last time. I might have asked you this, but fuck it, I'm asking it again. Stan Lee or Jack Kirby?
I am on the outside of this argument usually because I'm not really a Kirby fan. Artistically, like, I recognize his value in the creation of this stuff 100%, but I was never really a fan of his sort of flat hands and things like that. There are some things that he did that I enjoyed. Like, I love Devil Dinosaur. That's just crazy stuff. Right. So I'm not really a Kirby guy, and Stan, Stan takes a lot of shit for not writing things or whatever. But regardless of that, Stan made Marvel what Marvel was, because regardless of his writing, he's the one that was out there pitching it to TV and movies and putting them on the Macy's parade. And, he made Marvel what Marvel is, regardless of the writing side of things.
Yeah. Without
Stan Lee, Jack Kirby wouldn't have done that. Now, that doesn't mean that somebody else couldn't have stepped into Stan Lee's shoes and done similar things. But if you're taking the 2, I think the larger value was from Stan, because he understood what these things could be that Jack was creating. And I don't think anyone else at that time really had that in mind necessarily.
Yeah, that's fair. Cool. Tom, we made it to the end again, man. This was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate you having me on. Yeah. Always a good time. Yeah. Sorry we missed Max. We'll have to line it up again. I mean, like I said, I'm doing more campaigns this year. He's doing more campaigns. So we can reschedule and double team this.
Sounds good. So one more time, please let everybody know where they can find you in your work, sir.
Yeah, Facebook again is pretty much our home. You can find me, Tom Hutchison. You can friend me up. You can go to the Big Dog Inc. page. There's a fan page there as well. Twitter and Instagram, BDI Comics. TikTok, BDI Comics. Patreon is patreon.com/Big Dog Inc. And of course, we have our web store, BigDogInc.com. If you want to grab some issues, and we're on Kickstarter all the time, guys. So we're gonna be here at least quarterly, all throughout the year. So plenty to see.
Right, nice. And the current campaign for both Mary Machine Gun and Ursa Minor in the show notes. So you go click on those links, go buy yourself some awesome books, and I'll be talking to you guys later. So thank you, Tom. Thank you, guys, and I'll be talking to you soon. Have a good night.